There is a planet in our solar system that used to look almost exactly like Earth. It had oceans, it had rivers, it had rain. And then, over a few 100 million years, it simply stopped. The water vanished, the sky turned to almost nothing. The temperature dropped to nearly minus 60 degrees. Today, it's a frozen tomb of rust and dust. Scientists have spent decades asking the same haunting question. What has the power to kill an entire planet? The answer isn't an asteroid. It isn't a war. It isn't even something that happened to Mars. It's something that happened because of the sun, the very same star that light up your sky right now. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it happened and why Earth is standing on the edge of the same fate, protected by something you cannot even see. A world you wouldn't recognize. Let's go back. And if stories like this fascinate you, Orbital Vistas is where we uncover the biggest mysteries hiding in our universe, one incredible discovery at a time. 4 billion years, if you stood on Mars back then, you might not even realize you'd left Earth. Instead of dust under your feet, there could have been the shore of a salty sea. Now scientists are still debating the details. Was Mars a warm, wet world like ours? Or a cold desert with occasional rivers or meltwater? Nobody has the full picture yet. But here's what we do know for certain, because the evidence is sitting on the ground right now. NASA's rovers have driven straight through the skeletons of ancient rivers. They found ripple patterns in rock that only form under floating water. They found minerals that on Earth only form when rock sits underwater for a long time. This wasn't a damp rock drifting through space. This was a planet with everything it needed for life. Some scientists believe an entire ocean, bigger than the Arctic, once covered nearly a third of the planet's surface. Mars had a real shot at becoming a second Earth. Close your eyes and imagine looking across an ancient Martian coastline. Waves roll onto a rocky shore, clouds drift across a pale sky, rivers carve valleys through the landscape. Somewhere beyond the horizon, rain falls into lakes that may have existed for millions of years. If a human could have visited Mars back then, the planet might have felt strangely familiar. And that's exactly what makes Mars so terrifying. We aren't looking at an alien world, we're looking at a world that may once have looked disturbingly like home. So the question becomes even more disturbing. What turns a living world into a graveyard? To answer that, you have to understand something Earth has that most people never think about. Right now, deep beneath your feet, our planet's molten core is spinning and churning like a giant engine. That motion creates something incredible, an invisible force field wrapping around the entire planet. A magnetic shield. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but it is working right now to keep you alive. Mars had one too. Billions of years ago, its own molten core generated the same kind of shield. For hundreds of millions of years, that shield stood guard over its water, its air, its future. But here's the twist that changed everything. Mars is small, far smaller than Earth, and smaller planets lose their internal heat much faster. As the Martian core cooled, the churning slowed down, and then it stopped completely. Around 4 billion years ago, Mars lost its shield forever. And the moment that shield disappeared, the planet was left standing naked in front of the most dangerous thing in the entire solar system. And this isn't the only world that suffered a catastrophic fate. Here on Orbital Vistas, we'll also explore the planets, stars, and cosmic disasters that shaped our solar system. The Sun, the same star that gave Mars its warmth, its light, its chance at life, became its executioner. Every second, the sun fires off a relentless stream of charged particles called the solar wind. This isn't a gentle breeze. This is a superheated plasma ripping through space at nearly 1,000,000 miles per hour. Here on Earth, this storm slams into our magnetic shield and gets deflected harmlessly around us. The leftover energy lighting up our skies as the aurora. It's actually one of the most beautiful side effects of staying alive. But Mars had no shield left to deflect anything. The full force of the sun's fury hit its atmosphere head-on, undefended, unfiltered, unstoppable. This was the beginning of the end. And it wouldn't be quick. It would be slow, brutal, and it would last for hundreds of millions of years. If you're enjoying this journey through one of the greatest planetary mysteries ever solved, consider subscribing. Every week on Orbital Vistas, we bring you real science that often sounds more unbelievable than science fiction. But before we explain exactly how Mars died, there's something even stranger. The evidence of this planetary murder is still happening today, right now, at this very moment. Mars is still losing pieces of its atmosphere to space. 4 billion years after the process began, the crime scene is still active. Scientists have a name for exactly how this happened. It's called sputtering. Picture the solar wind as an endless barrage of invisible cannonballs. Every time one of these particles lands into a molecule of Martian air, it doesn't just push it. It launches it with so much force that the molecule escapes the planet's gravity forever. Not damaged, not displaced, gone into space permanently. For a long time, this was just a theory. Nobody could prove it. Then in 2014, NASA sent a spacecraft that would crack the case wide open. MAVEN. Think of MAVEN as a forensic detective sent to a 4 billion year old crime scene. It focused on one specific gas, argon. Argon is special because it doesn't react with rock, doesn't hide, doesn't get absorbed anywhere. If it's missing, there's only one explanation. It was physically blasted into space. MAVEN's findings were staggering. Mars has lost at least 2/3 of its argon over its lifetime, mostly through sputtering. And if a heavy, stable gas like argon couldn't survive this assault, the lighter gases that casually made Mars breathable never stood a chance. Here's where it gets even more disturbing. MAVEN discovered that Mars is still losing its atmosphere today, right now as you're watching this, at a rate of about a quarter pound every single second. That might not sound like much, but it never ever stops. Second after second for 4 billion years. And when the sun has a bad day, a solar storm, everything gets far worse. During these storms, MAVEN recorded the rate of atmospheric loss spiking 10 to 20 times higher than normal, sometimes even more. Now here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. 4 billion years ago, the sun was younger, angrier, and far more unstable than it is today. It threw off solar storms constantly, storms strong enough to sterilize a planet. Scientists believe the young sun may have unleashed solar storms hundreds of times more powerful than many we experience today. Imagine a wall of charged particles racing across space. When those storms slammed into Mars, there was no magnetic shield left to stop them. Every eruption stripped away more air. Every blast carried away more water. Every storm pushed Mars one step closer to becoming the frozen desert we see today. What MAVEN measures today is just a faint echo. Back then, this wasn't a trickle stripping Mars apart. It was a torrent, and MAVEN found one final, chilling detail. Without a real magnetic field, the solar wind creates a weak, unstable bubble of its own around Mars. And that bubble is leaky, patchy, full of holes, There was no version of the story where Mars survives. As the atmosphere thinned, the greenhouse effect that kept Mars warm collapsed with it. The planet began to freeze from the inside out. The air became too thin to hold liquid water on the surface at all. The great seas, the ones that might have gone their own kind of life, met a violent, silent end. Yet, Mars never completely let go of its water. Today, scientists believe enormous amounts remain locked beneath the surface and frozen inside the polar ice caps. If all that hidden water was somehow melted and spread across the planet, it could cover Mars in an ocean hundreds of feet deep. The fingerprints of its lost world are still there, buried beneath the dust. Some of that water was ripped into space along with the atmosphere. The rest froze solid, and over billions of years, it was buried under an ocean of red dust. The rivers dried, the sky faded to almost nothing. The world went completely silent. The planet that once had a real chance at life became the frozen corpse staring back at us through our telescopes today. And if you've made this far, you're exactly the kind of explorer we created Orbital Vistas for. Make sure you're subscribed because the next mystery might be even bigger than this one. So here's the question you should really be asking. Earth has water. Earth has an atmosphere. Earth has exactly what Mars had 4 billion years ago. The only difference between us and that dead planet is one thing. Our core is still spinning. Our shield is still up. And it is the only thing standing between our oceans and the same solar wind that executed Mars. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. That shield isn't permanent. It isn't guaranteed. One day, just like Mars, Earth's core will cool. The engine will slow and the shield will begin to fade. It won't happen for a very long time, but it will happen. And when it does, our planet will face the exact same executioner that Mars couldn't survive. Mars isn't just a dead planet, it's a mirror. It's a warning written in rust and dust sitting 140 million miles away, showing us exactly what happens when a world loses the one thing protecting it. We are not looking at Mars' past. Mars is more than a dead world. It's a warning preserved in stone. A reminder that planets do not stay habitable forever. And every time our magnetic shield deflects another blast from the sun, Earth receives a gift Mars lost billions of years ago. If you enjoyed this journey into the death of a planet, subscribe to Orbital Vistas for more stories from the frontier of space, science, and discovery. Until next time, keep looking up.